Welcome back to Cosmic Curiosity. We like to take these deep dives into some pretty mind-blowing topics. And today we're tackling the massive surge in UFO reports.
Yeah.
Particularly those ones around military bases.
Yeah, and it's not just any bases. It's particularly those housing nuclear weapons. It's pretty unsettling. We're seeing this both in the U.S. and abroad.
Yeah.
Like take RAF Lakenheath and RAF Feltwell in the U.K., for example. Both store U.S. nuclear weapons. And there have been multiple reports of unidentified objects just kind of hovering there for hours.
Yeah. These aren't like quick blips on a radar either, right?
Right.
We're talking about extended periods of observation.
Exactly. Yeah, and it really defies what we know about conventional drone capabilities.
Right.
I mean, even attempts to intercept them or neutralize them have failed in some cases.
Which suggests that whoever or whatever is behind this has got some seriously advanced technology, way beyond anything that's really publicly known.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's a bit unnerving to think about.
It is. And it's not just the UK either. This is a global phenomenon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Similar incidents have been reported near other sensitive sites worldwide.
Uh-huh.
Like we've all heard about that incident with the HMS Queen Elizabeth,
Right.
the British aircraft carrier,
Yeah.
docked in Germany. Reports came out about this drone-like object just hovering over the vessel, and they tried to use their standard anti-drone technology. It didn't work.
No.
It makes you wonder what we're really dealing with here. I mean, it's like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But this is happening in our world right now. And what's even more weird is the silence from official channels.
Right?
Like, remember all the hype around that Chinese spy balloon? I mean, that was all over the news. This feels like a much bigger deal, and yet the response has been pretty muted. What do you make of that?
Well, you have to consider the implications, right? I mean, directly accusing a nation like Russia or China of using this advanced tech over allied airspace, that's huge. I mean, in the current geopolitical climate, things are already so tense that kind of accusation could be seen as an act of war.
Yeah, that definitely raises the stakes. So we're stuck in this weird in-between. We've got these unexplained things happening, possibly threatening national security, but talking about it openly could escalate international tensions. It's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, it's a real dilemma. And what's even more complex is that some of the technology we're seeing seems to completely defy what we know about physics.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've got these reports of objects doing maneuvers that would be impossible for any aircraft or drone that we know of.
Exactly. And it leads you to think, are we really dealing with something extraordinary here?
Right, like something totally beyond our understanding. I mean, let's take metallic orbs, for example.
Yeah.
There's this organization called Enigma Labs. They track sightings of these spherical objects, and they've recorded over 6,000 reports in under 2 years. And a huge chunk of those are described as metallic. That's a lot. It's not just a few random incidents.
No. And what's even more telling is where these sightings are happening. Like Enigma Labs has documented multiple cases of these orbs near Joint Base Lewis McChord and Eglin Air Force Base, both key to U.S. military operations.
Makes you wonder what they're doing there. And then you have those cases like the Tesco brothers. They're researchers on Long Island. They've captured images of herbs shadowing commercial aircraft near JFK Airport.
Oh, wow.
If these things can operate so close to commercial airliners, what does that mean for safety?
Yeah. That's a chilling thought. Imagine a mid-air collision with a passenger jet. It's a terrifying prospect.
Definitely. This blatant disregard for conventional airspace, it's unsettling to say the least.
Yeah.
And the level of technology we're seeing forces us to consider some pretty uncomfortable possibilities.
Right. Is this a foreign adversary with tech that's way ahead of ours, or is it something else? Something we can't even comprehend yet?
And why are official sources staying so quiet? Are they deliberately downplaying this, or are they just as confused as we are? It's a lot to unpack.
It is. And the lack of transparency just fuels all the speculation and conspiracy theories. It's a situation that demands answers, but they seem pretty hard to come by.
It's definitely a puzzle. And we've only just started to put the pieces together.
Yeah, the lack of transparency is really concerning. Investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, he's been digging into this UAP stuff for years. And he points out this huge difference in how the media is covering these incidents compared to, say, the Chinese spy balloon.
Right. I mean, one spy balloon causes this global uproar. It's plastered all over the news. And yet we have these potentially more advanced objects just flying around, and it's met with silence. It's strange.
It is. And, Coulthart's work It often gets dismissed by the mainstream media, but it gives us a peek into this world of secrecy. He's talked to so many people, eyewitnesses, military personnel, even people claiming to have inside knowledge of government cover-ups. And his findings suggest there's a real effort to downplay all of this.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe because the truth is just too much for people to handle. You know, it's too disturbing.
That's a scary thought.
And you know, Coulthard's investigations, they go way beyond the U.S. and the U.K. He's found reports of these mysterious objects all over the world, from Russia and Kazakhstan to China, Southeast Asia, Japan. People from all walks of life are describing the same things. Glowing orbs, metallic spheres, triangular craft. And these things are moving at incredible speeds and doing maneuvers that just don't make sense.
It's not just the number of sightings that's unsettling, though. It's the fact that the descriptions are so consistent and the technology seems so advanced.
Right. Like witnesses describe these objects as being completely smooth. No visible engines or wings.
Yeah, it's as if they defy the laws of physics.
Exactly. They move with incredible agility, gliding silently through the air, appearing and disappearing at will. I mean, how is that even possible?
It challenges everything we know about aerospace engineering. I mean, what materials are they using? What kind of propulsion systems are we talking about? It's mind-boggling.
It is. It makes you wonder if we're witnessing a whole new kind of technology, a paradigm shift in what's possible.
Maybe. And Coulthard, he's even interviewed scientists working within what's called a legacy UAP retrieval program. These are people who claim to have firsthand knowledge of recovered non-human technology.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And these scientists, they're frustrated. They're frustrated by the secrecy surrounding their work. They believe humanity has a right to know.
And I can understand why they feel that way.
They argue that studying these advanced materials and technologies could lead to incredible breakthroughs. Breakthroughs in energy propulsion, maybe even our understanding of consciousness.
Imagine a possibility.
But their voices are being silenced, their research buried under layers of classification and misinformation. It makes you wonder, is there a deliberate attempt to suppress this information? Not just to protect national security, but to maintain control over these potentially world-changing technologies.
It's a question worth asking. If we're on the verge of a technological revolution driven by the study of non-human craft, who gets to control that technology? And what does it mean for the future of humanity?
These are big questions, questions that we as a species need to face head-on as we grapple with the reality of the UAP phenomenon.
The answers might be hard to find, but they could hold the key to our future.
You know, as we go deeper into this rabbit hole, one thing that keeps popping up is this connection between human consciousness and the UAP phenomenon.
Yeah. It sounds a bit out there at first.
I know. Right. But the more you look into it, the more fascinating it gets.
Absolutely. And Ross Coulthard, in all his research, he's found some really compelling accounts that suggest a link between psychic abilities and these UAP encounters. Like, he's spoken to military pilots and scientists who claim to have seen things that just can't be explained.
Yeah. It's wild. Like, some pilots have reported UAPs seemingly reacting to their thoughts. Like, there's some kind of communication happening that we don't understand.
Yeah, and others have described feeling like they were being scanned or understood by these objects. It's not just a visual thing. It's something deeper.
It's like these things are tapping into our minds somehow.
Right. It's a pretty unsettling thought.
It is. And remember those metallic orbs we talked about? The ones with no visible propulsion systems. Some researchers believe they could be manifestations of a consciousness that we haven't even begun to grasp.
That's interesting. Operating on principles beyond our current scientific models.
Exactly. Like, what if these objects are probes sent to study us? To interact with our minds and our world in ways we can't even imagine.
It's mind-blowing when you really think about it.
It is. And if our consciousness can actually influence or interact with these objects, what does that say about the nature of reality?
It really challenges our whole understanding of the universe.
It does. And it raises so many questions. Are we on the edge of a paradigm shift? A revolution in how we understand consciousness?
Possibly. And if so, what does that mean for humanity?
Right. Could we learn to harness these abilities? Could we communicate with these intelligences? Tap into a source of knowledge beyond anything we've ever dreamed of?
Or could it be used against us? Could someone exploit this connection to manipulate and control us?
That's a scary thought. I mean, these are questions we need to be asking as we confront the reality of this UAP phenomenon.
We do. The answers might be hard to come by, but they could very well hold the key to our future.
Absolutely. We need to be cautious but open-minded at the same time.
Huh.
Recognize the potential for both incredible advancements and unforeseen dangers.
I agree. It's a balancing act for sure.
It is. And as we wrap up this deep dive into cosmic curiosity, we encourage all of you to keep those questions coming. Keep searching for knowledge. Keep exploring the mysteries that are out there.
Because the truth is out there somewhere.
It is, and this journey to uncover it has just begun.